Thank you, Paul. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome along to the finals of the Under-17 division of the BSDRA eSailing Championship 2020. We're just getting ready for our first race, which is going to be between Sevenoaks and the Ride Junior team. Both teams topping the league of the Under-17 division this year's competition in first and second place. And by what I'm told from all the teachers and coaches involved, that we're in for some great racing today. So they're just getting set up and set ready. For those of you who haven't watched any of this before, it looks an awful lot like virtual regatta racing. We're going to be using the Star class boat, no spinnakers there. They sail better downwind than anything else. I'm going to do a 2-lap windward-leeward race. At the top of the course, there's 2 marks, both of which have to be rounded to port. At the bottom of the course is a gate mark, but in an understanding for this competition, they can only turn round the port hand turning mark. So it's left-hand turns at the top, left-hand turns at the bottom. It's 2-boat team racing. So basically the scoring is whichever team does not have last place is the one that wins. And we've got the first team to win 3 races, 3 matches, is going to be this year's Under-17 BSDRA eSailing champion. So we're still just getting set up. Just to try and work it out at the moment, we've got Cam, which is Cameron Hook from Ride Junior team, and Finn Evans are sailing for the Ride Junior team. They've got 4 sailors in their team. It looks like they're sailing in the boats with colours. And then for Sevenoaks School, we've got Jamie Elder and Ferdinand Bayer, who are sailing in the black boats, as best I can work out. I'm sure someone will correct me fairly quickly, but A crew and A class. I have got that wrong by the looks of it. I'm completely wrong. A crew and A class, who are the blue boats, are sailing for Sevenoaks, and then the black boats are sailing for Ride Junior. So we've got about half a minute to go to the start here, and the boats are jockeying for position. They're going to want to try and be in control of their pairs. And you can see here it looks like the Sevenoaks boat not quite ready to go towards the start line yet, and looking like they could be close to a penalty, but just getting away with it. So that's all fine. We do now have a penalty for one of the Sevenoaks boats there. About 10 seconds to go to the start, and they're both going to come back in here now. Big pressure. All boats coming towards the start line. We have 1 pair at the front, 1 pair at the back here, but there we go. With the start gone, we've got Sevenoaks in control of the trailing pair, but Ride sailing in control of the leading pair. And Ride tacking away there, just trying to make sure they've got a clean breeze. These Star class boats present really big wind shadows and can have a massive effect on your competition and slow you down if you're too close to them. So it's always worth making sure that you're not in trouble there. So 1 pair splitting out to the left-hand side, pair on the right. We've got Finn Evans coming out to the right-hand side with Ferdinand coming out this way in a loose cover position. I think he's probably just happy just to make sure he's in touch. And way out on the left-hand side, Cameron Hook leading his opponent out to the ley line there. So as they get close to that lane, there's going to be a lot of pressure to try and tack in and see what they can do. Let's just see if we can. Yeah, so Cameron now in a tight cover position, hanging in on this left-hand ley line. We're going to try and extend that lead out a little bit and hopefully slow his opposition down to let his teammate catch up. He wants to make sure that his teammate is not in last position. And as we come together as a cross there, and Finn just crossing ahead on starboard there, taking the advantage and tacking in. So at the moment, both of the Ride Junior team boats leading their pairs, but neither with enough of an advantage to make sure that they're going to be comfortable going down this run. And the runs are where a lot of the gains are made in this racing. We've seen some pretty impressive overtaking manoeuvres in the competition so far. And then we go tacking in on the ley line now. That's probably only maybe 2 boat lengths separating these 2 boats. And it's going to be pretty close as to whether or not Jamie from Sevenoaks can get across on port tack in front of this windward mark here. And get in there and start causing some chaos on this run. You can see there our Ride School boat just slowing down a little bit, is he going to be able to sneak in front? This is going to be pretty tight as they come into this windward mark. He's going to try and get the tack in, and we're going to see a change of course. He's just gotten in front, so that's now going to be really important for Jamie to try and push back and let his teammate through from 4th place into 3rd or 2nd place. You can see he's slowed down, and there's a penalty there on Finn from Ride Junior. So it's going to be a case of, can he manage to get back into this race once he's gone hard left while he's doing that penalty. He's going to be trying to make sure that he can keep ahead of the boat in last place coming down this run. So he's going to push a long way, and you can also see there that Ferdinand just waiting, not pushing down the run very fast. You can see his sails flapping. He's in no rush. He doesn't need to win this race. He just needs to make sure that his teammate doesn't finish in last. So here we go. He'll jibe across fairly soon, and then again you can see down at this bottom mark we also have Cameron just waiting. He's not in any rush to go around. He knows that he's got to make sure that his teammate's not in last place. So all of these sailors well aware of the fact that they want to make sure that they're just fighting the entire way around this race course there. So jibe there. Oh, penalty there for who's that? Finn, but it's a 1-2 at the moment for Ride Junior. Question is whether that penalty is going to last long enough to have an effect on the race. But that was really good sailing from all the sailors on that run there, all fighting really smart to make sure that they're just pushing back and not allowing boats to sail away or break cover. But currently now 1-2. It's going to be hard for Sevenoaks to make any difference on the beat, but they are going to be close when they come onto this run. And we've seen in previous matches that a 1-2 at the top mark of the 2nd beat does not equate to a win. So these sailors are going to have to work really hard on this run to try and make sure that they can maintain this winning position. You can see there Cameron just slowing down a little bit and making sure that his teammate can drop in behind comfortably. Finn there just covering back against Ferdinand. Looking like he might have to let his teammate in. He's just going to wait and really poised to make an attack on this run. Both boats are going to be coming around pretty close behind. You just have to watch what happens as they come down onto the run here. So first 2 boats around, extending down on starboard tack. They're jibing across. You'll see the boats will work the left-hand side of the run as you look down the course, because it always gives a powerful starboard tack advantage when you come back. You don't want to get pinned out on the right-hand side because you'll be driving onto port, and then you're in a lot of trouble. Now, looks like both of the Sevenoaks boats are putting as much pressure as they can onto Finn from Ride Junior. But at the moment, happy just to sail down when he thinks he's got enough of a gap just to keep sailing. So he's sailing as fast as he can on a VMG run down this race course. Hot position so he can sweep across it if he needs to. He doesn't want to sail too far. He's not panicking, which is actually reasonably good to see. He's just sailing as fast as he can. And you can see over here, the gap is getting slightly smaller. It's now only 40 metres down. He's now having to sail a hotter angle. He's now trying to clean his air. Sailed as fast as he can on the run for as long as possible. Cameron not looking to come back yet. That gap down now to 30 metres between 2nd and 3rd. Those 2 Sevenoaks boats working. And you can see now it's down to, if my math is right, just under metres, 26 metres now. And there you go, confirmation there. Ride Junior taking 1st and 2nd and winning that. And the 2 Sevenoaks boats sailing off to have a little chat together. But there we go, race number 1. A win for Ride Junior. Well done. Let's just see what's happening with the net. Frantically typing away as fast as he can to make sure it's updated as quickly as possible for everybody watching at home. So do make sure that you get logged on to ksailing.co.uk to find out what the results are from this and the other events in this series. We'll just see, here we go, the race is just getting set up right now. So far, we've had a lot of teams taking part in the event so far in the under 17 section. We've had 12 teams taking part so far from a wide number of schools across the country. So it's been great to see so many sailors able to maintain their involvement with team racing all the way through this different time that we're in at the moment with the lockdown. But these sailors having some great racing, making sure that they make the most out of what's going on. Here we go. So we're just waiting for one more boat, I think, to join in. Looks like we've got some new sailors jumping in. For Ride Junior here, so we've got Fred Salter and Federico, and then the boat that's not on my list. We'll just see if it gets messaged. But it looks like we've got a new sailor, I think, for Sevenoaks. Sorry, my bad. Let's just have a look. See, we've got just under half a minute to go to the start now. Just a reminder then that it looks like we've got the Sevenoaks boats in black. No, sorry, Sevenoaks boats in blue. We're coming to the start line here. Watch try start line this time. Oh, one go by the looks of it. Yeah, having to go back. And so we have Ferdinand from Sevenoaks wedged in the middle here, just dropping down, able to hold his position. He's going to have to chase out to the right hand side to go across to Fred Salter from Ride Junior. And unfortunately, Jamie over at the start, which by all accounts not very common in the races we've seen so far. We're just having to push out the left hand side. He's now on the ley line. I'm going to have to look to come back in towards the top mark and see if we can get back into contention. His teammate is going to have to work pretty hard to get him back into this. So does look like the boats are just making their way up on a long port tack here. Looks like a big left hand shift. And we've got Noah Evans on the inside from Ride Junior, currently in first place. He might have to just try and push back a little bit just to give his teammate a little bit more space. Here we go, tack on the starboard. Can he get across? He's going to make it. Looks like he's just going to sneak through. Just getting past our Sevenoaks sailor Jamie there. Just making sure he sails with him. Doesn't want to give him an opportunity to overtake. Get back into this. He's going to have starboard tack advantage when we come back onto port coming into this mark. And you see his teammate just catching up from behind here. 56 metres the difference from first to last at the moment, which is not insurmountable. He's going to want to see if he can make that gap a bit closer. And you can see as the boats come into the top mark, we have Noah Evans really making life as hard as possible for the Sevenoaks team going into this top mark. Making sure his wind shadow is as punishing as possible. A little bit wide on that mark, maybe give him a little bit of a chance to get back into it. He's going to be right behind him come this run. So this is definitely not over. There's an opportunity here to slow down the Ride Junior boat onto this run. We're going to have to see Noah's going to have to work pretty hard to make sure he doesn't A, get a penalty, and B, get overtaken coming down this run. So he's going to have to work very, very hard. As is his teammate Freddie, Fred Salter. So what happens as we go down here? So Fred just sailing down the middle of the course. We'll make sure he's not going too much. It looks like they could get a hook in under here. There's a penalty there. That's not good. So this is where it all changes. You can see now that Noah is probably going to drop into 4th place come this bottom mark. He's going to have to work very, very hard to try and get back into position coming further on. It looks like his teammate's gone round the mark and is sailing upwind again here. So can he get room at the mark? It's going to be very tight. It's probably not going to happen for him. You can see it's now a 1-4, which is not a winning combination for Ride Junior. As we say, that 1-2 not always stable. Great mark rounding there though. He might have to tack away just to clean his breeze. But very tight in behind here. So it's a real battle between Ferdinand from Seven Oaks and Noah from Ride Junior. Back of the pack here. I expect we might see Fred having to come back in and try and help out. Might wait until he's on the run. He's going to have to do something. At the moment, very strong control by Ferdinand for Seven Oaks at the back here. So he'll just be closing that down, and he's going to have to fight his way downwind on the run here as well. And there's going to be a question here for Jamie Elder, currently in 2nd place. He's got to decide how long he's going to push forwards and try and get Fred to take the 1 and then push back and make sure that his teammate takes 3rd. But it looks like, yeah, here we go, Fred stopping at this windward mark. He's going to try and set a mark trap. He wants to see if he can get a penalty on when he goes by. But it looks like we had a penalty briefly going into the top mark here, but it's all gone now by the looks of it. And we do indeed have a penalty. Jamie Elder from Seven Oaks taking a penalty at that windward mark. He's going to be slowed down for 10 seconds before he can get back up to pace again. He's got to decide whether he wants to try and push out onto this left-hand side or whether he thinks he's got the speed to sail past down the middle. So you can see he's going a little bit lower there, dropping down onto lower ladder rung. If he thinks he can get past, then he might get back into it. And you can see now, further back, Ferdinand's done a good job of making a bigger gap. It's being closed down pretty quickly. So Noah, who's just going to keep pushing out to this ley line, past the ley line, try and get on top of his breeze and slow him down as much as possible. We're going to have to jibe back. And you can see all 4 boats starting to come together. They're bouncing around. This is really tight racing at the moment. This is incredibly good. And you can see they swapped their pairs now. That's brilliant sailing. We might get into a luffing match here, jibing on starboard. Oh, this could be trouble. Oof. Boats changing tracks all the time, and the rules are going to come into effect. And you can see there Jamie Elder taking a penalty for Seven Oaks. Not much of the racecourse left here. There's a lot to do. 2 boats now with penalties. Fred from Ride School, Ride Juniors with a penalty there now, dropping back into 4th place. His teammate Noah having to really fight for the jibe there, just able to get the jibe completed fast enough and get the penalty here. So it's now a sprint towards the finish line. And we're going to be seeing, I don't think Freddie's got enough to get down underneath. Can he get down? He can. He's going to see a luff here. He's going to try and push him away from the finish line, but he might just try and sail through anyway, taking the penalty. He's going to manage to get through in enough time to take that 3rd place. That was incredibly tight racing going down that run there. It's great sailing from all of the teams involved. Really, really tight at the very end there, but knowing that they could take that penalty that close to the finish line and get across, very, very smart sailing. Well done. And I believe that now makes it 1-1. Quite hard to stay on top of. Hopefully Keith will confirm the results for us by message fairly shortly, and we'll see what happens as we get the next race set up. So yeah, so some fantastic racing there again. Ride going into this final with 6 match wins from 7 matches sailed and taking 1st place. Seven Oaks taking 2nd place going into this final. But doing so at the top of a 3-way tie for 2nd place. And I spoke to Keith earlier, and he tried to explain just exactly how complicated the tie was, but I couldn't understand, as quite often is the case when Keith tries to explain the rules of team racing to me. But nonetheless, some incredibly tight racing. Getting to hear a message from Keith is that the next race is up and running. We should be getting into that. As the boats get set up. go. We've got the boats in the starting area. Not yet under signal. Here we go. Under sequence now. Minute to go. Excuse me. Let's go and find someone. What's going on here? So this time we've got Finn Evans sailing with the Canadian flag for the Ride Junior team, and he's sailing with Fred Salter, who was in the last race. So they are carrying on. Penalty there, but no one's going to be that worried about that. And then we have Jamie Elder and Ferdinand Beyer sailing for Sevenoaks as we get revved up for the start of this third match. You can see boat there. One of the blue boats a little bit early, possibly. Just try to slow down. Is they going to get a penalty? They're just going to sneak across the front there. Another boat coming in from behind. Could be in trouble here for penalty there for Finn from my junior. Mind you, we could have a penalty coming up here as well. Yeah. So great work by Jamie Elder there, getting the penalty on his opposition, and unfortunately just copying a penalty. It was ducked quite fast enough to get out to that right hand side, so fairly even at the moment. One blue boat ahead, one black boat ahead, so it'll be interesting to see what happens when we come up to this top mark for the first time. But you've seen with these two teams, nobody guarantees a win until they've crossed the finish line, and nobody able to give up until the very, very end. Both teams very keen to make sure that they have the opportunity to give penalties, to avoid penalties, to make those overtaking opportunities and get themselves into those winning combinations. Remember, it's the team that doesn't have the boat in last place is the one that takes the win at the end of the race. Still working up this beat, just happy to sort of sail in their pairs. Nobody's making any crazy moves, just sailing smart, sailing sensibly. And here on the right hand side, we've got Cameron Hick, Ride Junior. Happy just to be in control of Jamie Elder from Sevenoaks as they approach the ley line, the starboard tack ley line. And then on the left hand side we have Jamie Elder from Sevenoaks, again just controlling and happy to stay between the mark, between him and Finn Evans. So they're going to be coming into this ley line, and we'll have to see what happens when the pairs come together, if we can see anything happening here. Tacking in, and we have Jamie Elder leading the pack into this mark. He's going to set a trap here. He's going to see if he can do something, just try and help his teammate get a bit closer in and attack downwind, or he might even be trying to get a penalty, but he's allowed his opposition just to sneak underneath there and get the hook, so this could be trouble coming into this mark. He might end up with a penalty here. Yep, there you go. And that's Jamie Elder from Sevenoaks has a penalty, and he might have just let both of the Ride School boats sneak through. And you can see there, they're sneaking through, but did we get a penalty? Finn Evans just touching that mark by the looks of it with a penalty. So it's now all changing all the time, but you can see as we come down this run, both boats pairing off again. Cameron with quite a big lead, but his teammate in a lot of trouble over on the right hand side of the run. And a penalty there for Finn. He's going to be slowed down again, and we're going to see Jamie just pushing forwards. Is he going to be slowing down at this leeward mark? Is he going to have a sail around and just lead his pair round? So he's just taking a little bit of extra distance, doesn't want to get too far in front. Smart sailing. But again, at the moment it's a 1-4 as they go into this mark for Sevenoaks. So they're going to have to do something. So you can see there, Jamie just tacking over. He's going to have to try and do something to get back in. try and attack the boat in place. It does look like that's his plan at the moment. He's now just positioning himself to windward of Cameron. See if he can do something to slow him down and let his teammate through into third place. I imagine we're going to see some similar tactics from Finn Evans on the other side before. To see as they come into this top mark here, you can see now it looks like Jamie Elder will be first going around this top mark, although he isn't quite on the ley line by the looks of it. He's going to have to tack. We're going to see what happens here as they tack back in. Can he get across the front? Just, but he's going to be in trouble. He's got windward position here. He might find himself being aloft. Have to work very hard to avoid the penalty here, and just hope that he's slowing down there. He's going to try and keep clear, not falling into the trap. It's difficult to do. You have to wait for the computer to catch up. See now, all the boats are going to slide into this zone here, and they've just got to try and make sure that they can hold their positions. Penalty there for Ferdinand from Seven Oaks. Oh, and a penalty for Cameron there. Flags are flying everywhere. These teams really want this win at the moment. Penalty starting to wind down. But at the moment, we still have... Oh, I'm not going to call that. It's pretty tight here at the moment. So, down at the front of the fleet, we have Finn Evans in first place for Ryder Junior. He's got to make a decision as to whether or not he thinks his teammate can get through without being in last. And we have this coming together further down. So Jamie Elder taking it across to Cameron by the looks of it. Cameron now pushing back as well. He doesn't want to make sure that he's not going to be overtaken here. Fighting really hard, sailing really well. Oh, this is tight. Oh! And that's a penalty for Cameron. Yeah, penalty for Cameron, who's now dropped back into fourth place. Where's his teammate? What's he waiting to do? Here he comes, coming back up the run. He's making sure that he's giving his teammate as much of an opportunity as possible. And you can see, expect to see a jibe onto starboard. Boat in second place, which is Ferdinand for Seven Oaks. Incredibly tight battle here at the moment. Railers. Yep. Penalty there against Jamie Elder. Question is who's going to be the first across the line. Are they going to want to cross the finish? I think anyone's going to want. Oh. He could have just got it. He's going to take first place here. Can he sneak down across and get the win? Oh my lord, that's incredibly tight. See there for Jamie Elder from Seven Oaks. Indeed, Finn and Cameron taking first and third. Makes that win for the Right Junior team. But incredibly tight, and I love seeing boats beating back up the run to make sure that they can help their teammates out. That's what team racing is all about, is helping your friends out and getting them into the right position. Great sailing there. Let's just see if this next race is getting ready to go. And the race starting to get set up. You'd think it was easier than real racing, but I need one of these young sailors to help me out with the technology. Here we go, just over a minute to go then to the start. Let's see if we can an update. just over half a minute now, and the boat's going to work very hard to get their position on the start line. You've seen the start's been incredibly tight so far. 30-ish seconds to go. Penalties not going to matter, still with 20 seconds to go to the start. So we're just starting to position ourselves here. Holding back a little bit. Just going to see if they can drive in for the hook and start pushing away. There we go, boats forced away. Looks like our black boats. We've got Noah and Fred sailing for ride on this one. Interesting to see the boats taking the ends of the line. And we have a great start by Ferdinand there, right on top of his opposition. He's going to be doing a good job of controlling him and stopping him from getting away. He's had to duck there to get out, and he's going to just stay with him and just try and make that hurt as they go up this beat here. He's going to be working very hard to get his teammate into this race. Right hand side and clean breeze. This is going to be quite tight as we come in towards the top mark. Now, long drag on port tack as the breeze looks like it's shifting to the left. Excuse me. So we'll just have to see how they get on as they come up here. But you can see a really good job by Noah from Ride Junior to hang on in there, and he's just managed to keep his breeze clean enough that he can just keep going. He hasn't slipped back. Ferdinand not quite able to punish, I suppose, his opposition as he'd hoped to do when he tacked into that covering position. Still doing well, he's still ahead. He's got an advantage. He's going to see if he can capitalise on it. And here his teammate tacking in on starboard. Can he get into him and get a piece? Looks like he can just. It's just forced both boats to tack away. Great sailing coming up this beat here. And you can see there the boats are going to struggle to come back on port now, so they all appear to be locked out. Sevenoaks at the moment, I'd say, controlling this as we come in towards the top mark. It's a must-win race for Sevenoaks. Interesting there, great tack to really hurt the teammate there. Can he get the tack and duck in? Just. So Sevenoaks leading both pairs as they come into this top mark, but that's not going to mean a lot because there's going to be lots happening at this windward mark here. You can see there's two boats coming in on the port tack ley line. They're going to have to see if they can get in without breaking any rules. That's going to happen here. Starboard, but the boat's behind. And there Fred with a penalty. It's going to allow the other Sevenoaks boat just to sail past. So they're going to have to attack pretty hard on this run. You can see now Ferdinand going round the first mark in first place, followed by his teammate Jamie in second, but right behind him Fred chasing hard, going to make life really hard for him on this run. See the wind shadow hitting the sails there. Jibe on starboard there, and see if he can. Now the boat's porting starboard. He's going to try and get underneath him and hook him out. He wants to push him out to the right hand side of the course, give him nowhere to go. It's going to be hard sailing, tough sailing going down here, and you can see it's already allowed his teammate to jump forward into second place, who's now by the looks like going to come back and give him a hand as well. Go. Oh, very, very tight. And a penalty there for Jamie Elder. So that jibe was just a bit too close. But slowing down there. Now it's a 1-4 for Sevenoaks at the moment. You can see this is going to change quite a lot, I'd imagine. Coming up to the top. Ferdinand just going to try and push out and try and slow this match down a bit. He wants to compress it up. See if he can get his teammate up into third or second. He's going to have to work very, very hard. There you go. His teammate desperately trying to get clean breeze, tacking and tacking and tacking. There you go, you can see the boat slowing down to get the tack in underneath there. Smart sailing by Noah just to be able to tack on that lane line. He doesn't want to get forced out too far. He doesn't want to end up closing the gap down into third place. He wants to keep pushing forward and making that gap as wide as possible. Slowing down to come in here. It's Great sailing by both teams, both offensively and defensively. Really, really clever sailing. A testament to the standard of coaching they've obviously been getting at their respective schools. And there we go, slowing down, trying to get them marked track there. And a penalty there for Noah. We'll go round. Oh, but just sneaking through there. Both boats with a penalty. Let's see if that's going to affect them coming down onto this run. Noah's managed to hold on to first place despite that penalty. Both boats. Now we have the Ride Junior School boats leading both pairs, but only just. We'll have to see what happens as they come together here. Big jives there, expecting big luffs. Can you push over the top? This is going to be hard to see if we can get around the front there. Incredibly close, but no, he's not got enough to get around the front. We have a penalty for Ferdinand. It's going to drop him back into last place, or is it? Yeah. Ferdinand in last. He's pushing forward now, just trying to get wind shadow on top of Noah, who's was in second but might have just dropped down into third place. Really difficult to see what these guys are going to do next, but Fred in first place at the moment. He's probably going to have to jump back and help his teammate, although it does look like, oh, it doesn't look like anything. They're just changing places all the time here. We'll have to see what happens, but Noah just sweeping out to his left hand side, jibing onto starboard there, as he managed to get enough to get through the finish line and hold on to third place. Doesn't look like Jamie can do enough to get into here. Teammate's going to sweep out, but can they cross the finish line? Is that just going to push him back just a little bit too far? Has that gone horribly wrong? Results there in that race. That all changed at the very last minute. Confirmation that Ride School with a 1 and a 4. Last place for that. 7-0 with a 2-3, changing at the very end there. And by my maths, that's now tied 2-all. And that's going to take us into a deciding sudden death match. Let's hope I got that right, and that's going to be embarrassing. With some great sailing there, and both not giving up until the very, very end. And I think that's been the key in the team racing that we've had so far on this virtual regatta. It's very easy to make changes right at the very end to the positions on the race course. And it makes a huge difference to the scorelines, as you've just seen. What looked like it was going to be a comfortable win for, not a comfortable win, but was going to be a win for Ride, flipped on its head at the very end there. Just going to see if I can get confirmation on the scoreline. I'm assuming it is. They're just setting up another race here. It might seem crazy that I don't know what the score is, but I don't have it written down, and there's so much going on in these races that it's hard to keep up, so apologies. I'll start writing stuff down. But incredibly fun racing to watch, and I hope everyone at home is enjoying this as much as I am. I think it's great to see these young sailors of tomorrow really racing very, very hard, and we've got some stats on some of the sailors and just incredible talent on the water in the real world, much as skill in the virtual world of team racing. So we've got the boats from Seven Oaks have turned up. We've got Jamie Elder and Ferdinand in the race already. I'm just waiting to decide on who's going to be sailing for Ride Junior in this deciding match to see if they can hold on to first place. Maybe we'll be having some discussions with their coach Henry. Andy Corner from Seven Oaks is obviously, who you recognise from the commentary from the last 2 days, has obviously been chatting to his sailors and giving them some top tips on how to get back into this. And it's obviously very tight racing for everybody. 2-all in this first of 3 wins final of the under 17 division of the BSDRA eSailing Championship 2020. We're just waiting. Right, there's some sort of technical issue. See if we've got any update from our technical boffins. Here we go. We have got Fred Salter has joined us, and Finn Evans sailing for Ride School in the black boats. So just a reminder, more for myself than anybody else, blue boats is Jamie Elder and Ferdinand Beyer from Sevenoaks School. The black boats, are Finn Evans with the Canadian flag on his sail, evidently, just to make life even easier to spot him, and then Fred Salter, who should have a polar bear on it. So obviously decorating the boats to make them easy to spot, but let's see what we can find out as we go into this final sudden death match. At the moment we have both Sevenoaks boats with penalties, but they're not going to care with less than 30 seconds to go. It's as they approach the start line that can make the big difference. 20 seconds to go now. The penalty there for Fred, but again, not that worried. It's just forcing his other opposition to spin out. About 10 seconds to go now. This is where it all matters as they start to approach the line. We have not really easy to tell, but approaching the line with pace here. Great start by Ferdinand and also Fred down at the pin end there. Both boats hitting the line with pace. Looks like they're both going to be leading their pairs going up this beat. So again, yes, we have one Ride sailor leading the pair, one Sevenoaks sailor leading the pairs. This is going to be pretty tight, and they're going to fight this out the entire in the race course. So we'll just have to see what happens. You can see here on the left-hand side, tack for tack. Fred not going to let his opposition split away from him, and if he can, push him back, get that wind shadow to slow his opponent down, give some breathing space for his teammate to push forward. So both boats desperately try to push their opposition back into last place, because remember, the team with the boat in last place loses. So just have to see how they can do this. But at the moment, it looks like quite a long port tack again up into this windward mark. Not that far from the port tack ley line. Not much runway to make any big gains or losses on this beat. It does look like it's going to be tight between Fred on the left-hand side of the screen and Jamie across on the right-hand side of the screen when they come back into this top mark. Jamie for Sevenoaks is going to have the starboard tack advantage. So you can see the pairs changing as we come into the top mark here. These Star class boats sailed quite narrow angles as they got wind, and you can see he's mostly going to be encouraged to tack just a little bit early. This Finn just tacks in early to get there. Right hand shift as he comes in towards this mark. That could actually just let him sneak up. It's double tacking. And you can see he's swapping to the back boat by the looks of it. It's very tight between these two boats here, so Fred just going to lead in. He's going to be able to luff him now. He's got to be careful. He's going to have to give him mark room here. So we've got Ferdinand just on the outside here. Needs to be careful to keep clear his windward boat. Looks like he's going to be trying to sweep him away from his mark. Getting as much pressure on as possible. It's a penalty for someone. It is a penalty there for Ferdinand from Sevenoaks. Just getting a little bit too close. He's going to have to hope that penalty washes off pretty quickly. There you go, penalty's gone. He's now going to have to go and attack and try and get back into second place here. So Finn Evans from Ride Junior pushing it to the left hand side. He's just trying to make sure that he doesn't get overtaken and drop back in the last place here. Meanwhile, back in the middle of the race course, of course, we've now seen Jamie Elder sail up into second place. He's now being pushed away from this leeward mark by Fred Salter, and they're going to be really close as they come down into this leeward mark. Remember, left hand turns only. In this left hand mark, they've all got to go there, and a sweep out there. Great sailing to try and even this match up and push the right sail. Ooh, really wide rounding there on that mark. That's not great, but you can see actually it might work out quite nicely. Finn there just tacking away at the bottom mark, coming back in on port now. He may end up on, yeah, he's having to duck behind Jamie Elder. Jamie tacking in top there. He's going to try and make this wind shadow hit him now and slow him down. It's incredibly tight racing, but Finn Evans back in 4th place. Needs to do something to get forward. He's not going to do it himself. He's going to be relying on Fred, his teammate, to do something to try and get him back into this race. He does want to finish last, because that's unfortunately last place loses. That'll be it. So we'll just have to see as they come in towards this top mark here. Freddie tacking in to the windward mark here. He's going to sail round. Going to try and do something. A penalty there for Finn, and it's going to push him back even more. So all pressure now on Fred to see what he can do. You can see he's slowing down as he approaches this mark. He's got to try and stop the boats from going around. You can see there we have a penalty. That's going to slow one boat down and the other boat down. So both Sevenoaks boats with penalties going through that mark. I think both boats realising that they kind of needed to go and take those penalties just to try and get themselves forward and not allow the boat in 4th place to catch up with the boat in 4th place. Is now going screaming into 1st place, and now going back out to this left hand side as we look down the race course, and he's now going to be looking to help his teammate who did all that work to get him into 1st place back into this race. And so Fred now, you can see, is working down this left hand side. He's got the jibe, not sure that he can make it stick yet, so he's still just pushing away. Try and get a penalty if he's just going to be happy to sail down here as fast as he can. But he's being chased hard by Jamie Elder from Sevenoaks. Further down the race course we've got Ferdinand with a penalty. Finn Evans doing a great job of holding on to 1st place. He's holding up his left hand side. It's pretty strong at the moment, but it now looks like neither of those two boats prepared to go down towards the finish line, because they don't know what's happening behind them. So they're going to try and close this race up and get everyone a bit closer. They're going to start to work out if anybody gets stable, whether they can cross the finish line or not. Really, really tight racing. And you can see there as Ferdinand moves back towards the other pair of boats. He's going to go and try and help his mate out, get him up from last place. And now you can see that Finn's also coming across. It's the leeward right away boat at the moment. So this is it. This is where it happens. So now we're not far from the finish line. Can we see, is Fred going to manage to get across the top here? Is he going to manage to take 2nd or 3rd? There's not a lot of distance left in this race course, so it does look like he's going to get down. Even with a penalty, he'll still get across in 2nd place. And that was very, very clean sailing and good sailing from the teams there. But 1st and 2nd there for Finn Evans and Fred Salter from Ryde's junior team means that they are this year's BSDRA Under-17 eSailing champions. Congratulations to all of the sailors on that team: Noah Evans, Fred Salter, Cameron Hook and Finn Evans. And I'm sure they'll be thanking their coach Henry Bagnall profusely for all of his help in getting them to this position. Well done to everybody involved. And just a little reminder, we're going to take a short break now and come back again in 10 minutes for the final of the Under-19 competition. And the Under-19 competition is going to see Royal Hospital School Blue facing Magdalen College School 1. And both teams actually with upset victories in the semi-finals on Tuesday. So both teams with a lot to prove, and I imagine we're going to see just as much great team racing when we come back in just 10 minutes.